just a triple jab. Beeb, where did this shot land on the temple, or what was this? This looked like a triple jab to me.
Are you talking about the uppercut that landed?
Yeah. No. In the fifth round.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, where he took the other knee. I apologize.
It
It
looked
looked
like
like it.
three straight jabs.
Yeah, it looked like it landed to the temple, and it was bizarre when he took the knee. I really didn't understand that. I didn't
I
understand that at all.
I didn't either.
I think it could have been an accumulation of punishment from Lucas Matthysee. He just figured, you know what, I'm getting hit so much. Maybe I just need to take a knee and take a breather because the pressure was too much to me for me at that point. Did something similar against Danny Garcia, and he also did something similar against Victor Postal, where he just took a knee and he needed to kind of regroup, and that's sort of been his MO in other fights as well. He doesn't wait for you to actually knock him down or hurt him sometimes. Sometimes he just takes the knee when he feels as though he's getting hit too much and he's hurt and he needs to kind of get a second wind or a breather. He's done that before in the past. So it looked bizarre in this instance because the punches did not look incredibly damaging. But again, I'm not in there taking them. But it didn't look like those types of punches would be the types of punches to make you want to take a knee. Absolutely not.
No, it didn't look like a tough shot, and certainly not a shot that would put him down. Again, I'm not taking the shots, but I don't know. I mean, it didn't look like he wound up or anything like that. It would look a big shot. The seventh round was more of the same. Pacquiao dropped Matthysse with an uppercut, and the bout was stopped about 2:43 into the seventh. Pacquiao looked good. But let me tell you, his handlers really got to be careful with him because he's not the same guy. And you may say, oh, it was vintage. I heard the announcer say it was vintage Pacquiao last night. Okay. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, you go look at the Ricky Hatton fight and you go look at the De La Hoya fight and you look at how he moved around the ring. You look at how he moved his feet, look how fast he was, and you tell me that's the same fighter we saw last night. He's not the same guy. I've been saying this since the Marquez fight. He's not the same guy. I think he's way past his expiration date. I thought he was past it in the Mayweather fight. I thought it was past it in the Marquez. After the Marquez fight, that was it for him. I've been saying it for a long time now. Pacquiao's done. He talked about fighting Vasyl Lomachenko next, and Arum stated that he's willing to do the fight. I'm actually seeing things online from people stating that they think it would be competitive, that it's an interesting fight. That fight, I'm going to tell you right now, that fight will be nowhere near competitive. Pacquiao against any real top 5 fighter will not be competitive. And no, Matthysse was not a top 5 fighter. He was not a competitive fighter. Matthysse was completely shot coming into this fight. All right. Just because he knocked out Tiwa Karam, whoever that is, in his last fight. Come on, man. I mean, we got to be realistic about this thing. I mean, we really do. He looked great, but he had the right opponent in front of him who was who was actually more worn out than he was. In the second round of this fight, you know how the fight was going to go. The first round, I thought Matthysse was just feeling him out. He wasn't throwing much. I figured he would just pick up the pace in the second. He didn't. He looked like a guy that just didn't want to be there, man. I mean, he was content to just keep Pacquiao off of it, just to try to offer up some resistance to keep him off, but no resistance to win the fight. I think he bought out for this fight. I really do, and I hate saying that. I think he did, man. I think that he called it. I think he called it quits. I think he knew. It looked like he didn't even want to be here, man. It was much him as it was Pacquiao getting him out of there because he offered up nothing. Beeb, you saw the fight. Couple questions here. Were you impressed with Pacquiao, and what was your take on the fight?
I was impressed with Pacquiao, and I'm gonna agree with you to a point, but I'm also going to give you the flip side of the argument. Manny Pacquiao is not the same fighter he was in terms of from a dynamic athletic standpoint. He's slowing down, and that's normal. That happens to a lot of fighters. It happens to a lot of us in our everyday lives. But but a couple things I'm going to say I liked about Manny Pacquiao is I saw him tweak his style a little bit last night I saw some adjustments made. I saw him use the jab more. He wasn't lunging in with the left hand as much. He had his feet underneath him before throwing punches. He seemed a little bit more poised. He moved less. So in other words, he's an ambush fighter who likes to go in and out. So you know he's going to dart in. When he darts out, you follow him out there. But what I've noticed is when he goes back out to reset, he's not going as deep out as he used to. He's going just enough out where he can be in counterpunch range. So I saw excellent counterpunching last night. I saw poise. I saw a more calculated Pacquiao who set the left hand up with the jab instead of just throwing the lead left hand. He does something that's very odd. Timothy Bradley has mentioned this, and I've seen this in the past as well. Does something that a lot of southpaws do not do. He actually moves to his right instead of moving to his left. So he moves into to his opponent's power hand if he's fighting an orthodox fighter. And he has done that throughout his whole career, and it's actually backwards and it's incorrect to have a fighter do that, but he's always been able to get away with it because of his quickness, his athletic ability. He would always beat that fighter to the spot where they couldn't get set and throw the right hand. But because he slowed down a bit, if you noticed last night when he took that step to the right, he was throwing the right jab before throwing the left hand. So he was setting up that left hand beautifully last night. And I like how he incorporated that uppercut into his arsenal last night. So I think Pacquiao realizes that he's not the same physically. And because of that, I think he's made some adjustments in his style. And I like those adjustments that he's made. He's shown us, he stepped up his counterpunch game a little bit last night. He knew Matthysse was going to come forward. I mean, and again, you're right. This was an opponent that was tailor-made because Matthysse, he's a mid-range guy too. So, and I said this last week, it's going to be a battle of when these two guys get in the mid-range, who's going to get off first. And I anticipate that Pacquiao would get off first. But that's not to say that Matthysse does not have a sharp right hand, which he landed a few times. But I just think Pacquiao fought, a disciplined fight. He made some adjustments. He added a few nuances to his game. I like how he stepped up the counterpunch game, as I said earlier. And I think moving forward, I think he could still be a handful for a lot of top welterweights out there. I'm going to say something very controversial right now, but I think outside of Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, I think he has a shot to beat anyone else in that division. And I know that sounds like a stretch to some, but Danny Garcia is not the quickest guy in the world, particularly on his feet. And we saw Zab Judah give Danny Garcia problems with his quickness. We also seen Mauricio Herrera give Danny Garcia problems. So I think Manny Pacquiao, even at this stage of his career, could give Danny Garcia problems. Sean Porter's got a mauling style, but again, he gets hit. He's not always the most defensively responsible guy in the world. That mauling style could present problems for Pacquiao because we saw how that affected him in the Jeff Horn fight. But Sean Porter's not as big as Jeff Horn physically. He's a tough guy. He's a rugged guy. But, he smothers his punches. Manny Pacquiao's got quick feet. That's an interesting fight, too. Keith Thurman, we don't know what's going to happen when he comes back. I think the fight to make next, honestly, in my opinion, would be Amir Khan. That's a fight you could do in the UK, and you could put it in a stadium, and I think that's a great fight. I mean, I would probably even still favor Khan just a tad in that fight because Khan's quick, he's tall, he's lanky, he's really good from the outside, and he could pot shot Manny from the outside. But he's still got to time Manny Pacquiao coming in. And Khan sometimes has mental lapses in fights where he'll get tagged a little bit. And Manny Pacquiao's got that sharp left hand. So and Amir Khan's not the most durable guy in the world. That's an interesting fight. That's a real intriguing fight. Because Khan is probably lost a step as well. He's been in some tough fights. Maybe he could be the worst for wear. So timing wise, this is a great fight, Khan versus Pacquiao. But obviously, I'm not going to sit there and say Pacquiao is what he once was. He's not a pound-for-pound guy. He's not, probably a guy that you would put up there with Terrence Crawford and Lomachenko. But I think he's still good enough to get some wins in this welterweight division. And a lot of people would disagree with me, but I'm not going to say he's 100% totally done just yet. I think even in this state, I think that he still can win some fights. And I picked him last week, and I think I was one of the few people that did pick him, because most people I talked to, they were picking Lucas Matthysee. And I think Pacquiao won every second of this fight last night. And I think this fight was not as tough as people thought it would be. And I think Pacquiao dominated and destroyed Lucas Matthysee. And again, Matthysse is a little bit the worse for wear too, but he's still a dangerous fighter with his punching power. And he didn't hurt Manny Pacquiao really significantly at all in this fight. And I think Manny Pacquiao put on a great performance, and I think it was a very impressive performance considering how everyone wrote him off. So I'm not ready to throw the dirt on top of that grave just yet. I still think that this fighter, Manny Pacquiao, has some life left in him.
Yeah, I think he earned a big money fight after last night. I really do. I think he earned a big money fight because I think, like I said, his career is on life support fighting on ESPN Plus. And you got to give him credit for what he was able to do against Matthysse. But again, it was against Matthysse, and we picked him. Robert and I picked him.
Picked him, though, Eric. You guys picked him.
Yeah, but we had to pick between two shot fighters, and I tried to. I thought the lesser of two evils. But
I'm not going to go that far with Manny Pacquiao, but I see where you're coming from.
But yeah, I mean that's kind of where I was coming from on this. But it turns out Matthysse was more shot than the other guy. I don't know, man. I as far as him beating any top five, I don't see him. I don't see him beating Porter. I don't see him beating Garcia. I don't see him beating Keith Thurman. I don't see him beating anybody that's any good.
I don't know, man. I think he could beat. I think he has a shot against Garcia. I'm telling you. I think he has a shot against.
Because that's the fight that they were talking about next. You keep hearing Amir Khan's name come up. The other one I heard though was Lomachenko, and I don't think he's competitive at all in that fight.
I don't know, man. And I don't like the fact that he'd have to go down to lightweight to fight that fight. I know he eats 7,000 calories a day to make 147, but I don't know.
That's tough. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if he can drop down
weight or something like that. I don't know, but
I think Pac versus Garcia is an excellent fight, and yeah. I may be inclined to pick Pac in that fight. To be honest.
Yeah, Garcia should have took the fight. He should have took the fight. He was offered the fight at one point, so he should have took the fight. Robert, what were you saying?
Well, can Lomachenko realistically make 140 pounds? He just got up to 135. Can he carry over 140 pounds?
Well, we wouldn't have to. The fight, they already said the fight would be at 135 if it happens.
Oh, my God. Okay.
So that's why I think it's a stupid fight for Pacquiao. I think it's a dumb fight. I would go for the Khan fight instead. It's a bigger money fight. It would be in a stadium in the UK. And Pacquiao doesn't seem to have any interest in fighting in the United States again. So where's he going to fight Lomachenko?
Well, I don't understand. Like, how's that fight? That fight, Beeb, that fight can't even take place. Pacquiao and Khan can't even take place.
Why?
Because Eddie Hearn's a promoter, and he'll jerk up a big fight. Look what he did with Wilder in the.
Eddie's had a change of heart.
He's had a change.
It's a 99% go April 13th for Wilder, Joshua. I'm firmly in belief that fight's going to happen April 13th.
He sucks. He's terrible. He's terrible. All right. But yeah, I mean, so it'll be interesting to see who he fights next. I think, like I said, man, I think he's earned a big money fight, and I agree with Beeb, man. I think if he wants the big money, I think Khan's where it's at. Like I said, he could sell out a stadium over in London, and yeah, it's a good fight. Good stuff.
I like the Khan fight.
Yeah, that's not bad. All right, so I think we're going to go out a little bit out of order. The next fight we're going to talk about here is Carlos Canizales versus Lubin.
Oh, Bin Lou, I think it is.
Well, I think hey, listen, man, I could be talking out of turn. I don't know, but I thought in like some Asian cultures, and I thought they did this in like Japan and China, where they put the last name first.
You could be right. I don't know.
The first name last. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
so when
you're right.
it's like Lubin, but it like when you see it, it's like Ben Lou. They kind of like swap. I could just be talking nonsense, and I'm known for that. But that's what I thought anyway. So we'll call him Lubin just for the sake of argument. And if I'm wrong, it's probably his last fight anyway. I'm just saying. All right. So Canizales, WBA regular, another WBA regular junior flyweight title on the line here. Carlos Canizales wins via TKO in round 12 at 2:59 of round 12. Where have we seen that before? Fight getting stopped with 2 seconds or 1 second left, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Richard Steele.
Right. Richard Steele's the first one that came to mind.
Yeah.
Let me tell you right now, man, this fight bothered me on multiple levels. Canizales had 21 fights coming in, and Lubin had 1. And Canizales was 20-0-1. All right. Lubin was 1-0. He had and he only had 3 rounds of experience because his first fight and his only fight ended in the 3rd round via TKO. 1 professional fight. And the idiots at the WBA actually sanctioned this.
Oh my God.
All right. They actually sanctioned this. Everybody, remember when Floyd fought Conor, you know, and everybody was saying, wow, how is Conor going to get sanctioned? Yeah. Apparently anybody could get sanctioned for a fight, you know? I mean, and there's your bar. If you sanction Conor McGregor to go up against Floyd, how are you going to deny this guy? You know, who's got one pro fight. And he may have been great in the amateurs, but this ain't the amateurs. And you're talking about somebody with 20 pro fights, 21 pro fights. That's a big deal. You know, and forget the WBA for a minute. What about his handlers? What about his manager? What about his promoters? And what about the people around him? They actually thought that this was a good idea?
He's promoted by Manny Pacquiao.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. There you go. I mean,
how much promotional experience does Manny Pacquiao have at the top level?
Oh my God. Yeah, he's
with all due respect,
hang up job with this kid. Let me tell you,
he ruined him.
100%. He
kid's ruined.
100.
Kid's ruined.
Done.
Done.
For having only 1 pro fight, Lubin. Let me tell you what, he did a great job. He did great out there. He gave a really good account of himself. Okay, for somebody who has 1 pro fight to do the job he did in there and give the kind of fight he did, I thought he did great. I think you got to take your hats off, man. But he wasn't ready for Canizales. I mean, the level of fighting and experience was evident from the first round on, man. Canizales was hitting him with the right hands at will. And Lubin was, and there was no, you know what drove me nuts? There was no adjustments made. He got hit with that right hand constantly all night.
There was no adjustments that could be made. The kid didn't have a plan B. There wasn't in him to make adjustments. He didn't have the experience.
Where was his corner?
Didn't have the talent. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Well, who was in his corner? Boo Boy was in his corner.
Was it Boo Boy? Yeah. That's what I thought. Was Boo Boy in his corner?
Yeah, he was in his corner. Yeah.
He should be horsewhipped after this fight because he did nothing for that kid. I mean, absolutely nothing. Canizales was hitting him with right hands, man, and Lubin was knocked out in the 12th round. Again, 1 second left. I think they stopped it or something like that. Had to be administered oxygen in the ring, and then he got stretchered out. The referee could have stopped this fight a couple of rounds before as Ben was getting touched up. I mean, I thought this fight really could have been stopped a couple of rounds before this.
Oh, of course, yeah.
You know, because I mean, you know, he was taking some shots, and you don't want to see, you know, listen, man, you don't want to see him. You don't want to ruin the kid's career.
They could have pulled him out maybe in the 10th round or 10th or 11th round easily.
Right. Either one. You know, and what about his corner who did nothing? I mean, they did no adjustments. You saw that this kid was getting starched over there, and you just let it go on, man. Lubin's career ended last night in his 2nd pro fight. You don't recover after something like that. He may come back and fight, but he will never be the same. In my opinion, the WBA, the ref, and his corner are all responsible, man. Beeb, what were your thoughts on this?
Well, this is the problem. And we already went over this in terms of how he was so far over his head. It was ridiculous. But these are the fights that ruin a fighter's career, because it's not like he got hit with a shot and was put to sleep in 4 or 5 rounds. This was a systematic beating, round after round. Ben Lou kept coming forward, did the best he could. He just didn't have the firepower, didn't have the ability to do anything with this kid. Canizales, and Canizales was a oh my God, he was relentless. And the thing was he was a very, very seasoned inside fighter, a really good body puncher. And you could tell when he got up close in Bin Lu's chest, Bin Lu didn't know how to fight him off him. He didn't know how to. His instinct was to just stand there and try to, fight him off him instead of hold him or hold him or kind of grab him, turn away or turn to the side. He just stood there and thought, you know what? I'm fighting in front of all these people. I'm on Manny Pacquiao's undercard. The poor kid fought very valiantly, but he fought too valiantly and too bravely for his own good because because you could see that he was trying to match this guy punch for punch, and it wasn't going to happen that way. He was not able to do that. He just wasn't skilled enough. He didn't know how to shorten up his shots on the inside. He didn't know how to position his body properly to be able to gain leverage, make himself a compact target on the inside. He just was standing there squared up and trying to, tee off, throwing straight punches instead of getting down low and digging in with the, Lubin shots, up around the elbows. He didn't have that ability, didn't have that knowledge. This was a systematic beatdown round after round. And these are the type of fights where you get beat up over a long period of time in a fight. These are the fights where you leave a lot of yourself in the ring that night. It would have been better served if he just got blitzed out of there, and then he wouldn't have had to have taken all this punishment round after round. I'm going to say something really outrageous to some. I honestly think we need to start holding these referees accountable and these corners accountable when there's situations like this. I think the commissions need to go back and look at tapes of fights like this, and they need to really punish these referees and maybe even fine these referees or punish these referees and maybe even fine these cornermen for allowing their fighter. I think you'll probably have to put more of the onus on the referee because only the referee could stop the fight. So I think these referees really need to be, put on blast here, and they need to really be held accountable for allowing, these fights to go on when it's very clear to everyone watching that the fighter who's getting beat up badly round after round, who's behind on the scorecards, has no chance of winning. Then they need to really act accordingly, and if not, they need to get punished for it. That's just my take on it. Maybe I'm being a little bit over dramatic here, but I don't think I am.
I don't think
because this wasn't the first fight. Excuse me. I'm sorry, Eric. This wasn't the first fight we saw a situation like that last night. There was a couple of situations where guys were getting beat up, and and in one instance, a fighter even said, "I'm done," and the fighter still sent them out there. That's disgraceful. That's fucking disgraceful.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. I mean, and you're right. I mean, that referee last night was awful. That referee last night was horrible. I mean, because they could have pulled that kid out at any point. I mean, he gave a good account of himself over the first half of the fight. He was competitive. He wasn't winning rounds, but he was competitive. I mean, better than you would have thought a 1-0 fighter would have done. But as it went on, I mean, it was more and more apparent that, the experience was the big difference. And that kid was getting hit flush. That was the other thing, is that it wasn't like he was just losing rounds. He was getting hit flush. And those punches like that, I mean, that could break your confidence right there coming into the next fight. But to get laid out like that in his corner and everybody, I mean, like I said, man, I do. I think they should start finding people. I think you're 100% on there.
Suspended referees are doing something. Seriously.
Because that corner was horrible.
Yes.
And you said Boo Boy was in the corner. And I heard his name. And I couldn't actually see if he was in the corner, but they were offering him up no instruction. You know why? Because Boo Boy's not a trainer.
And you know what, Eric? And this is just my opinion. No disrespect to Freddie Roach. At this stage of Manny Pacquiao's career, I don't think he needs Freddie Roach. And I know it was shitty the way he dealt with the situation. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But you know, at this stage, when the fighter is who he is, he's not going to get any better, not going to learn anything new at this particular point. Maybe you can downgrade your corner a little bit so you can save yourself some money. And Sugar Ray Leonard did the same thing when he got rid of Dundee after the Hagler fight. Went with Jakes Morton. And again, how much time does Freddie have to spend with these fighters? I know now he can spend time with these fighters, but you know, before his stable was so big that not everyone was getting the attention that they needed. So it's one thing having Boo Boy and Manny Pacquiao's corner, because let's be honest, I could have been holding the spit bucket, and Robbie could have been giving the instructions, and whatever was going to happen last night was going to happen in the Manny Pacquiao fight, you know? So it wouldn't have mattered who was in that corner, you know? So
well, Robbie's a bona fide winner, so I mean,
Robbie knows what's up.
Oh my!
But it's a different story putting a Boo Boy, and again, with no disrespect to Boo Boy, I'm just calling it like it is. Putting Boo Boy in there with a guy who's only had one professional fight.
right?
You don't do that. You don't do that.
No.
Boo Boy's not ready for that.
No, he's not. I mean, what is he going to put this kid's career on track? Come on, man.
No.
That's the guy to do it. You know, I mean, he hasn't. You know, who's he cornered? You know, I mean, aside from Pacquiao last night, who's he cornered? You know, I don't know, man. It was horrible, and you hate
horrible. It was disgraceful.
That kid was a good fighter. The kid was a good fighter too. He was a very good fighter, and his career is done.
Pretty much done now.
Yeah. All right. So
hope I'm wrong.
I hope I'm wrong too, man. But you know, hey, we've seen this a lot, man. You know, all three of us have seen situations like this. All three of us have never seen, you know, at least I can't remember a guy who came back from something like that in his first pro fight.
No.
You know, when you're bringing them up, man, they're supposed to look invincible. They're supposed to feel invincible. That's how you want your fighters. They can't lose, this and that.
Yeah.
You don't put them in there against somebody like that.
No.
What are you doing? All right. The next fight on there is Jack Tapora versus Edivaldo Ortega for the vacant WBA interim, another WBA special featherweight title. I wonder how much. I'm going to look up on eBay and see how much we can buy a WBA title for.
Isn't it nuts?
Like I've always said, Eric, the WBA they're idiots.
We're going to play soundbite back, man. You know what was a shame about that? Because I looked on the board and all you know, we got about half our sound bites there for whatever reason. I think they did some upgrading on Blog Talk, whatever, you know. So we'll have to upload them next week. But that was the one soundbite I was going to repeat over and over and over this week because it was just a common theme. Jack Tapora wins via TKO in the 9th round over Edvaldo Ortega. Not too much to talk about here. It was a good fight, but Tapora was definitely taking over the second half. I can't remember for the life of me. I watched quite a few fights last night, and I can't remember for the life of me. And Beeb, was this the fight where I think the guy went back to his corner, Ortega went back to his corner, and said, "I don't want to go back out there"? No,
it was a Prograis fight.
Okay.
I think it was the Prograis fight, but I also think that it happened in
I remember.
I think it happened on the Teofimo Lopez. Did it happen in the Teofimo Lopez fight too, Robbie, where his opponent decided he didn't want to go on either?
Both fights.
Yeah. So this, I don't think I got that confused, Eric. I apologize. I thought it was this fight. No, it was.
Yeah, I thought it was too. I'll tell you why. Because my dad and I were watching the fights.
Yeah.
You know, I recorded the Prograis fight and the Lopez fight. Now I saw the Lopez fight, but the sound was turned down. I just watched the fight.
Yeah.
But I didn't watch the Prograis fight until late last night. You know, like around midnight or 1 o'clock after the Pacquiao fight. You know what I mean? After the Pacquiao fight is when I watched the Prograis fight. And I remember, you know, me and my dad talking about this, like Ortega, that somebody, and I can't remember who it was. And I guess I want to say it had to be Ortega, but I don't know for sure. So I'm not, you know, but he said that, hey, I don't want to go back out there.
I watched it. I'm telling you.
No, I think Robbie's correct. I think it was the two. I could be wrong. I don't remember it in this Ortega fight, Eric. I got a little mixed up. But this was another fight too that it was competitive, but you could see, you know, that the tide was turning like in round 7.
Yeah.
And that was, you know, because this Tapora kid, he's got quick feet. He's got a nice straight left hand. They kept comparing him to Manny Pacquiao, and I just that's what they want to do every time they see a southpaw fighter from the Philippines. Everyone's Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah.
You know, I was hitting the bag the other day, and I went to southpaw stance. Hey, he's the next Manny Pacquiao. You can't do that. You can't do that. You know, just because you can throw a straight left, that doesn't mean that you're Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah.
But yeah, this fight was a competitive fight for about 4 or 5 rounds, and then you could see it starting to turn a little bit in the 6th and the 7th. Definitely, you could see it turning. But no, this was a pretty good fight. This was a pretty good fight.
Yeah.
Well, it lasted, but it wasn't something that set the world on fire either.
No.
It's kind of one. It turned one-sided quick. You know.
I wouldn't go out of my. Put it this way, I wouldn't go out of my way to see Sapporo again.
Yeah.
If he's on my TV, that's great. I'm not going to go to YouTube and check.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a bad fighter, but I mean, next Manny Pacquiao, I'm gonna reserve judgment for that one.
Beeb is the next Manny Pacquiao.
I don't think there'll ever be another Manny Pacquiao guy.
I get sick of hearing that. This guy's the next Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, just like when Chavez, everybody was the next Julio Cesar Chavez.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Except nobody wants to be the next Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. So there you are.
No.
All right, let's move our attention to ESPN, the real ESPN that we don't have to pay extra for, only except on our direct TV bills and cable bills.
Yeah.
How about we pay? How much? Think about that for a minute. I wonder, like, how much it breaks down to per channel and how much we're paying for ESPN programming.
I can tell you, ESPN charges $9 per subscriber.
Do they really?
Yeah, $9 per subscriber per ESPN channel. In other words, we're paying $9 for ESPN. We're paying $9 for ESPN2. You get $9 for ESPN Classic, $9 for ESPNU. You know, you name it. That's what we're paying for.
The cable company's actually paying for that, though, Rob, because we got packages. We're not paying for ESPN separately.
But with all the media deals that have been happening recently, there's been articles in various papers indicating how much each channel can get per subscriber, depending on what service you're with.
Okay.
I find it amazing that you knew that. I do. I find it like fascinating that you knew that. Let me tell you this, Robert, if you don't go on Jeopardy, you have wasted your life. All right. Because that is your life work to get on Jeopardy and win a bunch of money. Because that was incredible. I had no idea. All right. So let's take that number for a minute. $9. How much is ESPN plus? $5?
$5.
That's $5 per.
Well, I got another free trial last night, so it was free again.
That's right.
Those freaking goofballs. Beeb. I hit the 7-day free trial again, and they gave it to me again.
Beeb sticking it to the man.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Goofballs.
Love it. So essentially, we're paying $14 for ESPN watching the fights. That's only $6 away from DAZN.
Wow.
Yeah. Believe me, people in Canada hate DAZN. I would not pay for that.
He keeps saying that every week. Thomas campaign to kill DAZN.
Oh man.
Absolutely.
Eddie Hearn working for Beeb Enterprises, man. They're trying to make a dollar.
You're gonna get me fired.
All right, Regis Prograis on ESPN versus Juan Jose Velasco. Regis Prograis won via 8th round TKO over Velasco. Prograis looked good here, man. He dominated the fight, I thought, from start to finish. I look forward to seeing him in the World Boxing Super Series. I like him in there. I think he's good. I thought he looked good last night. I got a text from Jason last night who said that he thought Prograis looked horrible. I don't know what fight you were watching, man. I thought he looked pretty good.
Well, it just goes to show he hasn't watched enough fights to know what a good fight is and what's not. You've got to have years of experience behind you, and Jason doesn't have it. Look, Prograis dominated this fight, and he dominated this fight so badly. After the 6th round, the opponent went back to his corner and said, "I'm done. I've had enough." And the corner, whoever the idiot trainer was, made him go out there for not 1 but 2 more rounds. Look, this kind of crap is absolutely fucking disgusting. Okay, Prograis was absolutely thoroughly dominating this fight, and when a fighter can go back and say, "Look, I'm not a quitter, but this guy is beating me. I'm done. I can't do anything. You are supposed to protect your investment. When he says he's done, you should tell the referee, my fighter can't fight anymore. No. What do? Because you're not taking the punches, you send him out there to take a beating for 2 more rounds. I mean, whoever this trainer was should lose his damn training license, because he obviously didn't know what the hell he was doing last night.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Beeb, what were your thoughts on that?
You know, I thought Prograis looked sharp. He got hit with a few right hands, but you know the thing about Prograis is it's just he never stays in the same position for very long. He's constantly giving it a different look. He's really good at getting low, throwing really sharp feints. He's one of the best feinters I've seen in the business, like presently right now. He really knows how to feint people out of their socks, and that's how he's able to really get those body shots off. Because he gives you that little feint, drops down, and you don't know if he's going to rise back up or come up top with the left hand or go downstairs. So he keeps his opponent guessing where that left hand's going to go, and that's why he's so successful. Like how many significant body shots has he landed in his career in some of these fights, especially last night? Knocked him down a couple times with just body shots, right? Because he feints people out of their socks. So he's really crafty. I think he's unpredictable in there, but he's really a sharp puncher too. He's very accurate, and he works beautifully behind the jab too. He likes to get inside, but he does not just walk in, irresponsibly. He gets in there behind a real sturdy, really dutiful jab there. He's really good with the jab. He's on top of his game, and I like the kid. I mean, he did get hit with a few right hands, but I don't think it was nothing earth-shattering. Again, he made adjustments. It wasn't like he was getting teed off on. He wasn't hurt or buzzed at all in the fight. He's just I think he's a solid fighter. I think he's a very solid fighter.
How does he do in the World Boxing Super Series?
I think he wins it.
Wow, okay.
I think he wins it.
That whole thing.
Without question. I think he wins it.
Wow.
My question is, last night he was on ESPN. All of his other fights have been on Showtime. Does that mean now he's with Top Rank?
That's funny. That's a question I had last night. And if you go to Top Rank's website, they've got Regis Prograis listed. And if you go to DeBella's website, they've got Regis Prograis listed. Beeb, tell them what you found out.
I asked Lou DeBella. I said, do you guys co-promote Prograis? And he said, no. I had a deal with Top Rank for this one fight, and that's why he was on the show. So.
Oh, okay.
Well, which was really interesting because
really interesting.
Yeah, Velasco is promoted now. He's promoted by Top Rank.
Yeah,
and it was interesting that it leaned every way to him, where it was like, they got him in his hometown and everything like that. So I don't know.
Gotta give Lou DeBella credit. I mean, he's worked with everybody. He's getting ready to work with Eddie Hearn too, with this Danny Jacobs fight. Yeah.
So easy to work.
After these guys talk shit about each other for about 4 or 5 months now, they're going to be promoting a card together. So, hats off to Lou DeBella, man. He puts business first.
That's it. I think that's the way it should be.
Absolutely.
That's it. Hollywood guy.
Well, I happen to like Prograis. And he's.
You do. Robbie's really high on Prograis. I know he is.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he likes Prograis.
Yeah. He's a mandatory for Jose Ramirez, and by all rights, last week Prograis should have fought Ramirez since Ramirez's fight got canceled. Unfortunately, now that Prograis is going to be in this boxing super series, I don't know what Jose Ramirez is going to do, because Regis Prograis is his mandatory. So I don't know what happens with that.
Yeah, someone actually tweeted after that conversation I had with DeBella. It said this was kind of like almost like a severance payment for not making the other fight that Prograis was supposed to be in, basically. So it's almost like DeBella did Top Rank a favor.
Yeah.
So that was kind of interesting. Can't confirm or deny that, obviously.
Right.
But it was kind of interesting that it was said. It was a good point that was brought up too. So this was kind of like a favor, like a payback favor for not, having the other fight that Prograis was supposed to have, I guess.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right, and then let's talk about the undercard here: Teofimo Lopez versus William Silva. I tell you what, man, this guy Lopez looked amazing. He knocked out William Silva in the 6th round. Lopez drops Silva in the 1st round, the 5th round. Bright future ahead of him, man. I tell you what, he's 10-0. But they got to be careful not to rush this kid too. I see, and I saw some tweets about it, and that he's, he's ready for the big guns. I'm not sure. I'm not so sure yet, man. I mean, he looks good. I think they had to build him. Let me
10 fights.
Let's get him a couple more fights. Let's get him a couple more fights, man. Let's not just drop him to the wolves just yet. That seems
not
to
everybody
be
is Vasily Lomachenko guy.
What's going on with that? And we saw it again. We saw it in the Lubin fight or whatever. You got Lomachenko. Who was the guy? Your boy Robert. The other, he was from China. Zhu Shiming.
My boy, right?
He was your boy.
Yeah.
He was your boy.
Yeah. No.
But he had like a little, like a very small amount of fights, and he ends up. I'm here with like eye damage and everything like that. He's hurt pretty. Banged up pretty bad.
He's damaged goods now.
Yeah.
Talk about Zhu Shiming, right? You're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's done.
But what is this whole thing where the guy has like 1 or 2 fights and or under 10 fights, and they're ready to put him in there against a champion? I mean, I don't.
Do you remember too when it was the same thing with Hopkins? Because Hopkins was still a formidable fighter in his late 40s, mid 40s. So then everyone was saying, "Oh, well, Hopkins can do it, I can do it," and they couldn't. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they see one guy do something, and everyone thinks it's easy, and they want to try to do that same thing, and it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, well, and George Foreman made it look easy after the age of 42. Don't forget. So, you have fighters going in reverse. You have fighters that get title shots before they're ready because they don't have enough fights, and then you have fighters that go on forever because they see people like Bernard Hopkins and George Foreman do it. So it's a horrible circle.
Yeah. So hopefully they watch him, and hopefully they, and he's with, again, man, he's with, I believe it's Top Rank, isn't it? Yeah, he's
with Top Rank.
He's with Top Rank. He's with Top Rank, and they actually do a pretty good job of moving their fighters, how they should be moved. So hopefully they keep him there and they don't throw him in the deep water just yet. So we'll see. But he looked good. Across the pond, Tyrone Zeuge versus Rocky Fielding for Zeuge, and I hope I'm saying that right. WBA regular super middleweight. This just drives me nuts.
Oh, doesn't it?
WBA regular. Where's the WBA irregular one?
It's out of control.
It is. Like we talked about it last week. There was 4. There's an interim champion. There was a regular champion, a super champion, a champion in what was it? What was the other? It was.
They have a champion of recess.
Yeah, that was it. That was it. The champion. I want to say champion emeritus.
We got a weekend champion. We got a special edition holiday champion.
We got the Intercontinental WBA champion.
Yeah, and what about with the Prograis fight last night? They gave away some diamond belt that means nothing.
Got the hardcore champion.
That's right.
Television champion. Pretty soon they're gonna have tag team champions in boxing.
The national
fucking tag your opponent in.
Title.
Yeah, this is reminding me more of the WWE every day. Every time we talk about this crap, too many belts.
You remember like wrestling back in the day where they had like every dude that came out was a champion? They had like the champion and everything.
Intercontinental champion, the U.S. champion, the television champion, the hardcore champion.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
All right, so Rocky Fielding scored an upset KO over Tyrone Zeuge in Germany last night. Decent fight. Had good body work by Fielding that ultimately won him the fight. I got to be honest, man. I watched this on YouTube and fell asleep during the first showing of it, so I had to just rewind it and watch it again when I woke up. But it was okay. It wasn't if you saw it, great. If you didn't see it, I don't know. Go watch it. I don't care. All right, let's go here. Upcoming fights. Robert, my savant, July 20th.
That's Friday.
All right, Friday from Cancun, Mexico. ESPN, Lamont Roach Jr. versus Delvis Julio Bassa, 10 rounds, junior lightweights. Is this a just taking a
It's
stab
a
at
golden
this?
boy.
This is I was gonna say, is this a golden boy card?
Yeah, it's a golden boy.
How are we able to decipher that, Robert? How is it that I could read those first two names as the main event? We were able to decipher it's a golden boy card.
Fine, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you can just tell. You can just tell.
You can just tell.
You could just tell.
I like that one.
Yeah.
You can just tell.
Exactly.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Also on Showtime, I believe this is a Showbox card at Sloan, Iowa.
Absolutely. Yep.
Jaron Ennis versus Armando Alvarez, 10 rounds welterweights. Thomas Matthysse versus Zora Hamazarian, 8 rounds lightweights. Montana Love versus Kenneth Sims Jr., 8 rounds junior welterweights. Montana Love. Have you guys seen him box?
Yeah.
No.
Interesting name.
If that's not
Yeah.
like a call girl name, I don't know what is. Montana Love,
Yeah.
or like a porn star name.
Jesus
Oh my
Christ.
God.
Adult film actor Montana Love makes his pro debut. Wow.
All right.
I've seen it all, man. I've seen it all. At Kissimmee, Florida, on Telemundo, the same night. A lot of fights on Friday. Jonathan Gonzalez versus Julian Yedras, 10 rounds flyweights. And this blows my mind, too. Also, we're still on Friday, guys. Jean Pascal from Quebec. Jean Pascal. Now, there's no TV on this.
Right.
Maybe there's TV. I mean, if you're in Canada, you'll probably be able to watch it, but probably on,
a pay-per-view in Canada.
Pay-per-view.
Right?
Yeah, I was about to say. Jean Pascal versus Steve Bosse, maybe, or Bossy. 10 rounds cruiserweights. Wow. All right. And that's the only name on there, quite honestly, I recognize.
Okay.
But
right.
yeah,
Wow.
he's fighting. So yeah, I'll be interested to see how he does. Move up in weight. Let's see here. Anything else? No. So on Saturday, July 21st. So that was all Friday. A lot of fights on Friday, man.
Yeah.
Good, man.
July 21st on HBO from Las Vegas. Jamie Munguia, or is it Jaime Munguia? I think it's Jaime.
Jamie. I think it's Jamie, isn't it?
Jamie?
I think I've heard it both names, really.
Yeah.
I've heard
It
both
depends
ways.
on where we're at. If we're in Mexico, we'll say Jaime. Jaime Munguia versus Liam Smith, 12 rounds for Munguia.
Right.
WBO junior middleweight title. That is a good fight. On the undercard there, Alberto Machado versus Rafael Mensah. 12 rounds for Machado's WBA regular. I hate the WBA. I hate them. I hate the WBA. For the WBA regular junior lightweight title. Let's see here, and then we'll come back and talk about that in a minute. From Connecticut, DeBello on DBE1.com. DeBello's got his own streaming service, and it's Myquan Williams versus Matt Doherty, 8 rounds, junior welterweights. And that's pretty much the only names on there. I mean, there's other names, but none that anybody will know. A couple of female fights, it looks like. Robert, just, I know there's female fights, just relax. Also, now, for the World Boxing Super Series finale in Moscow, Alexander Usyk versus Murat Gassiev, 12 rounds for the undisputed cruiserweight title, the World Boxing Super Series final. Cecilia Breakhouse on the undercard versus Ina Sergey Dikauskova. I don't know.
Okay.
Ina something. 10 rounds for Breakhouse's undisputed women's welterweight title. Maris Briedis versus Brando DeSallier, 10 rounds cruiserweights. Fedor Chutinov versus Najib Mohammadi, 12 rounds super middleweights. This is not a bad card, guys.
And no TV.
No. I think it might be on YouTube. Dennis Shafikov, also on the undercard, versus John Jamino, 10 rounds junior lightweights. I think it might be, and I don't know, it may be on YouTube. And I wonder if their second series has started on. Now, I know for their second series, for their second season, they're going to be on, whatchamacallit, DAZN.
DAZN.
But for this series, I'm wondering if they're still going to be on YouTube where we can catch it. If not, we can catch fights on YouTube anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We'll find a way to watch it.
Gonna win that fight.
Is Breakhouse the one that got kissed at that kissed that other girl at the wedding?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and remember her last fight was on HBO. Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Breakhouse.
Now you want to talk about a network that's gone downhill. Their last fight card was May the 12th. Saddam Ali, Cecilia Breakhouse, and now July 21st they come back with an Eddie Hearn special. They didn't show fights all of May except for that, and they didn't show any fights in June. And here it's going to be towards the end of July before they put on their next show. What a brilliant run organization by Home Box Office. They used to be the king of boxing. Now they barely exist in boxing.
He hates HBO. He's canceling his subscription.
Wow, that was really rude. They're doing their best, Robert. I don't know why you have to pile on people like that.
They're not even close.
Good Game of Thrones, baby. We can't cancel now.
Yeah, well, they got too much money tied up in that.
The dragons are coming back. The dragons are coming back, baby.
Listen. I know you're a big fan, Beeb. I got it. I understand. My wife's a big fan too. How did they drag the dragon out of the lake?
They use the chains.
They can't go in the water. That's the point.
The chains.
How did they hook him up? When you see him hooked up, he was hooked up. Listen, I don't want to go too far into it. I'm just saying a suspect. That's what I'm saying.
Come on.
I'm just saying a suspect.
Actually asking me how in Infinity War they gave Thor a new hammer. Come on, baby. Magic.
No, I'm just saying. It's gone too far.
No, but seriously, guys. I mean, this network used to be the king of boxing. All the big fights used to be there, and now they barely exist. I mean, how do you think guys like Jim Lampley and people like that who have worked in HBO for a number of years feel about sitting on the sidelines and not doing any fights? I mean, if I had
Robbie,
them, I'd be asking people some questions.
I don't
Robbie,
know. That's not big though,
Yeah. Can I bring up a couple points? Remember they lost Tyson to Showtime? That was kind of the beginning of the end there. Then they lost Floyd Mayweather to Showtime.
That to me was the beginning of the end.
They seem to have never really been committed to boxing, really.
Yeah, Showtime is
the last 2 decades. They really haven't seemed committed to the sport of boxing.
Yeah,
I think it's their own doing.
Yeah, I think it went south after the Mayweather thing. I really believe that. And I don't think they wanted to keep Mayweather. And I don't know if Showtime overpaid for him or not. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if you look at the Pacquiao fight and the Canelo fight, I think they got their money back.
Was he with HBO when they fought? Or no, he was with Showtime when he fought Canelo, wasn't he?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
That's correct.
All right.
But no, I'm if I work for that network and I get paid to cover the sport of boxing, I'd be wondering what kind of.
After what you just said, they're not going to give you a job there, please.
It's like,
please. They probably won't even let you pour the coffee over there after what you just said.
Yeah. But no, this network used to be the king of boxing. Now they barely even talk about it, cover it,
But let's give them credit.
If it wasn't for Canelo and Triple G, they probably wouldn't exist.
That's what I was just going to say. Let's give them credit. They are going to give us the biggest pay-per-view of the year this year. Canelo and Golovkin.
They do.
We'll give them credit for that.
Yeah, I mean.
And you know what? There could be a third one. If this fight is like a barn burner, there could be a third one. What do you mean? Come on.
Yeah, he's right. He's right, son.
There could be a third one.
Cash cows.
There could be a third one, baby. You don't want a third one?
My only problem with that, guys, is how could there be a third one when he's got mandatories to fulfill? I mean,
he already let himself be stripped of one title. You think the WBC is going to strip him?
What's he care? Yeah. Well, what's he care? Yeah. I mean, he's got 3 others. I mean, who cares?
Marvin Hagler, when he fought Sugar Leonard, got rid of all his belts and just kept the WBC.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, everyone knows the winner of this fight's going to be the real middleweight champion anyway.
Let him fight for one of those WBA belts. They're giving them out like candy on on Halloween. So,
Well, yeah, he's already got the WBA belt.
Well, there you go. He's going to keep that one then. He can go from a super champion to, like, say, a regular champion. Or
Fight for the WBA after 12 a.m. title. you You have to.
Also,
he can only fight after 12 a.m. to defend his title, the WBA.
All right.
Also,
All right,
too, from
okay.
Thailand, Srisaket Rungvisai versus Young Gilbey, 10 rounds bantamweights. Now, this is in Thailand. I don't think it'll be televised. We can probably catch it on YouTube, but Srisaket is back. He's fighting again. Now, listen, man, and it's only a 10 rounder. But listen, I tell you what, man, he was on the verge of committing suicide after his lady left him. So it'll be real interesting to see like what he looks like now.
How are things going? How are things going? Did they patch things up? Did he get a new girlfriend? How's it going?
I don't know, man. Maybe he's
I'm worried about the
Match.com
guy.
letting it go. You know what I mean? Who knows?
I'm worried about the guy. It's almost like that Jersey Shore episode here with this guy.
Hey,
At least
is
that's
this
what
a
Robbie
fight
says.
he was supposed to have when that relationship fell apart, or what?
Probably not. I mean, I wouldn't think. I mean, that dude's not waiting around for him. Girl wasn't waiting around for him either, I guess. I don't know. You're cold-blooded, Robert,
Wow.
man. You are a cold-blooded person, man. That
That's
guy,
right.
that guy, lost his girl and you're just making fun of him. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right. Let's go to the phones here. Area code 805. You're live.
Hey, Nacho. What's up?
What's happening, man?
As far as the fights last night, I told you guys that I thought that Pacquiao and Matthysse was basically, one of those where both guys were faded enough to where it might be an entertaining fight.
Yeah.
I just didn't think that Matthysse was going to look as horrible as he did.
Look bad.
He looked bad yesterday. Like, he didn't look at all like the guy that we're used to seeing. And Manny was able to expose him. But the funny thing is, right after the fight was over on social media, you have all these people coming out of the woodwork saying basically because the fight took place in Malaysia that Manny's automatically doing steroids and that he's not being checked for PEDs because he won by knockout. And I was like, good God, like this guy, these sycophants of the money team and all these other people who just they will not let it go. They keep harping on the fact that they still think he's juiced, even though they've never proven at any point in time that he was taking any kind of PEDs.
Yeah, you got to give him credit,
and it's just funny.
Yeah, you got to give him some credit.
It's just funny how they keep bringing that shit up, and I was like, wow. I just honestly felt it was the perfect matchup for a 39-year-old Manny Pacquiao. He got a guy who stood in front of him and wasn't able to really hit him, and he was able to tee off on the guy, and he just, he knocked him out. That's all it was, as far as I'm concerned. As far as the other fights on that card, the fight right before that, the Ortega-Tefora fight, it was an entertaining fight. I just felt like when they stopped it, I thought it was a little bit of a premature stoppage because Ortega was fighting back. It's not like he was like out on his feet and he didn't know where he was. I just kind of felt like the referee just jumped in there a little bit too quickly to give the win to Tefora. But it was an entertaining fight, and Tefora was impressive enough that I wouldn't mind seeing him fight again on whatever channel or whatever that they put him back on again. The Lubin fight, I agree with you guys. His corner did him no favors. They should have stopped that fight probably after about the 9th round. I felt like the kid literally had nothing left, and they just let him go back out there and get beat up for the last 3 rounds. And they might have just taken a few years off of his career with that beating that he took at the end of that fight. And then as far as the Prograis fight, Prograis looked great, and I'm with Robbie. Like that corner of his, they should never be allowed to train or be in a corner of another fighter ever again. The poor guy, literally, you could tell after the 6th round, you could see that he had absolutely nothing left, and he had no confidence that he could win that fight. And the guy in the corner kept exuding him to keep going out there and keep getting beat up, even though he's telling him, like, dude, I'm done. Like, I have nothing left. And I just felt like that was embarrassing for Velasco. His corner absolutely did him no favors, and they just got him beat up the last couple of rounds for no reason. I hope that they never allow those dudes to, put another fighter in the ring again. That was terrible.
And Lawrence Cole was the referee of that fight, by the way, and he's one of my least favorite fighters. He didn't even
he's
stop
one of the worst
fight.
referees I've ever seen.
Yep.
Yeah, I almost forgot about that, Robbie. You're right. Lawrence Cole is one of the most god-awful referees ever.
Louisiana borrowed him from Texas. Congratulations. You picked a good one.
Yeah, exactly. You picked the worst of the fucking litter with that guy.
Jeez.
And then the Lopez Silva fight. Lopez looked good, and he's a really good prospect, and he's on his way up. But this whole thing of him basically saying that he thinks he's going to be ready for a title shot in like a year, it's like, dude,
thanks.
slow down. It's like, slow down. Like you're a very good prospect, but you're not on that level just yet. I still think he needs a little more seasoning.
He needs at least 5 or 10 more fights at least. My God, come on.
Yeah,
really.
Exactly. I think somewhere between another 6 to 8 fights, I think, is what he needs before he's ready for a title shot. For that fight. And speaking of the Prograis, I don't know if you guys got to see, but I was looking on my Twitter timeline, and Jose Ramirez's manager basically went on like a tirade against Peter Berg and a couple other people who were in Prograis' camp, and he went off on them saying that they don't know how to build a fighter, that they barely sold 500 tickets to that fight last night, that Prograis is, I think it said something along the lines of Prograis is like a cup of gumbo and something else from being a 147-pounder pretty soon. Like, he just went on this really crazy tirade against Peter Berg, also saying that his movies suck and that he doesn't know the first thing about being a boxing manager.
Nacho, I think what that is Ramirez's camp wants to do everything they can to avoid Prograis, because let's face it, when those two fight, I like both fighters, but Prograis, he's better skilled and he's got more power, and I think he would give Ramirez fits.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about that. He would definitely give Ramirez fits for sure, but I don't honestly think that Ramirez is the one who made that call. I just think everyone around Ramirez is the one that basically stopped that fight from happening, So I just feel like it's unfair to portray Ramirez as the guy who's saying, "Oh, I don't want nothing to do with him." I think his management and everyone else has done that.
No, I never said that. Matter of fact, I've been saying the opposite. When the Danny O'Connor fight got canceled, they should have fixed it where Prograis fought Ramirez instead of who Prograis had to fight last night.
Yeah, but I don't think Prograis would have done the fight, Robbie, unless Ramirez would have agreed to fight him in New Orleans, because I don't think he wanted to give up that hometown date.
You're probably right.
That would have been tough to get. Yeah, that would have been tough to get Ramirez to say, like, yeah, let's not fight in Fresno. Let's go to New Orleans and fight this guy.
Right, I know.
So I'm sure. I think the fight will happen, but it's probably not going to happen until after the World Boxing Tournament happens for.
Yeah, and I think he wins that whole tournament.
I think he has a legitimate shot. He's definitely the favorite. I mean, really, the only guy in that entire field I think has even a remote chance of possibly causing the upset is Josh Taylor. That's about it, really. Because the other guys, Relic, Troyanovsky, Baranchuk, they're all decent fighters, but I think Prograis is a couple of levels above all of those guys.
They're all good fights, though.
I've had the advantage. I've been able to see all of Prograis' fights because most of them have appeared on Showbox, and I love that series, and he's one of the best fighters to come out of that series. I think he's our next American superstar, in my opinion.
Wow.
Yeah, if he wins that tournament, he's definitely going to be the next big American name, in the sport for sure. But don't forget, I almost forgot, Robbie. There's a dark horse in that field that a lot of people are not talking about, and I've seen the kid fight a couple of times here in LA in person, and I'm pretty impressed with how skilled he is. Ryan Martin is in that tournament.
Oh yeah, he's a good one too.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
And don't be surprised if he makes some noise in that tournament. Because that kid can fight. You know, they've done a really good job of developing him, and he's got good skills, and he's a big 140 pounder. So it'll be interesting to see. But yet they're going to stick it on DAZN, and you're going to pay $20 a month for it. And from what I hear, it never works.
Oh
God.
Would you?
Thanks a lot, Eddie
Nacho.
Hearn.
Hey, Nacho. Let me ask you: would you, now knowing that the World Boxing Super Series is on DAZN, are you more inclined to buy DAZN now?
Honestly, as much as I love watching all these guys fight, because I'm a pretty big boxing junkie,
for sure,
I can't see justifying $20 a month, especially when some of these guys that Hearn is supposedly signing, like he's signing Demetrius Andrade. I mean, come on, you expect me to pay to watch that fucking guy fight? Like, no, I'm not doing that.
You know, that's a pretty big sign for him.
That's
a pretty big signing for him. Yeah.
It is, but he's not an entertaining fighter whatsoever.
No, and not only that, like I said, with all the Canada, the NFL rights in Canada were bought by DAZN last year, and I heard so many Canadian complaints with people couldn't watch football games. I can imagine what the complaints are going to be like if nobody can see these fights.
Yeah, for sure. If you can't watch the fights, this is definitely not going to be something that people are going to be signing up for and keeping it, you know. And just real quick, guys, as far as the fights this weekend, I'm picking Munguia to beat Liam Smith. I just don't think Liam Smith's big enough or strong enough to keep Munguia off of him. I think Munguia is going to go in there and he probably stops him in about 7. And in the other fight, Machado and Mensah, I have no idea who Mensah is. He just has like a really, glossy record. And I've seen Machado fight, and I think he's a big 30. So I think more than likely, Machado ends up winning that fight. Probably stops him late, probably in like the 10th or 11th round. And then the final between Usyk and Gassiev. I like Gassiev, but I just don't know if he knows how to cut the ring off enough to stop Usyk, because Usyk is really good at moving around that ring and pot shotting and being really slick. And I've never seen Gassiev fight a boxer like Usyk. So something tells me that unless Gassiev figures out a way to cut the ring off and hit him to the body, I think Usyk probably wins the decision in that fight this weekend. And that's all I got, guys.
Okay, good call.
All
right.
Thanks, good call, man.
Thanks.
Yeah, so you know what? I just thought of it. We didn't even talk about those fights yet. So let's get Georgie. Georgie's on here, and then we'll go back to it. Also, too, if you guys are watching and you guys like what we're doing, you guys are at least entertained for a couple of hours, or you just like us, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button, and make sure to subscribe to Beating the Odds with Beeb, and subscribe to Ringside Reporter on iTunes. Go check us out, man. If you like what we're doing, we don't ask for any money or anything like that. Robert, we were talking about the WBA just a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
And I did some research, some crack research. All right.
Okay.
With a fine-tooth comb here. Went to eBay. A WBA, World International Boxing Federation Championship replica belt, adult size, $185. That's a buy it now price. That's not a bid price. That means I can go down there, fork it out right now, and get the belt and bring it home. And I, Robert, can be considered a WBA champion. There you go. Maybe we ought to do that for our pie bets.
Eric, you should do that for the pie bets. That way George
right.
has a real bet he has to lose.
That's right. He's got a real, that's exactly it. So we can place him on the wall of shame for most losses. Speaking of which,
from this day, you'll be my new fool.
Georgie.
What's happening?
What's happening? So, Georgie, what do you think of that idea?
Listen.
What do you think of that idea?
Well, first of all, the WWE called and said that any of your motherfuckers ever compare them to boxing, there will be a problem.
The mafias.
They don't want to be affiliated with that type of mafia. Ever.
Okay.
Listen, man, but I mean, I don't want to pound the same shit, but how could we blaming referees and blaming corners and scorecards? And when the fuck we gonna talk about the real monster here, man?
What is the real
I
monster?
mean,
The real monster would be who, Georgie?
baby, the same conglomerate of Florence Combaggery that coming here for years talking about.
The mafia?
Everything comes from the top.
Oh, you want to talk about La Costa Nostra,
La Costa Nostra, baby. But don't say that because Beeb get offended. He's half Italian. Beeb! Where you are, my brother?
Beeb stepped away for a few minutes. He's ducking
you.
He doesn't want your work. He doesn't want the work.
About they're going to put me in the chain of fame. When I'm the only one stepping up here, let's fight right against everybody. Ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, man. Yo, that Carlos dude from Venezuela, shout out to Venezuela, baby, because I know the dude going to get no love. Anybody coming from Cuba, I mean, Venezuela, all these countries that you know they can't afford no pay-per-view, it's not really no fandom that can make any impact money-wise. They ain't getting no love. So let me give you some fucking love, Carlos. Dude, you are amazing. I hope this match can bring you more often to display your fucking talent. That Chinese dude, he was pretty good. Like everybody say, he put a fucking violent effort, man. He did everything on his power to come out of there with a fucking belt. But Carlos is just great. He's just great, man. Amazing. Really complete fighter. Really impressed with everything. Body work, straight hand, hook, uppercut, movement, pressure, everything.
He was good. I mean,
man, he's just amazing.
That kid, though, that Lubin, he was good.
Dude.
He was really good. And it's a shame to see him go out like that. They should have never put it. He should have never been in with that guy.
Listen, the other fight that they pushed, the fight before that one that they pushed the dude when he said that he wasn't good, that he didn't have nothing on the tank, and the corner pushed him to keep fighting.
Yeah.
Baby, that got to be sent from the top, brother. That got to be sent from the top. There is no way that the corner just going to do that on their own. Especially when you're training a man supposed to be your friend and this and that.
Right.
No fucking way.
Right.
That came all the way from the top. That man got to make it to the 12th round. I don't care how. Or you motherfucker will never get a fight ever again. That type of ultimatum. It's just, there's no other way. Everything comes from the top. From this out that somebody's busy, they can fight, man. They schedule this shit already like that. That the one guy's supposed to fight somebody else. So then we get the bullshit fights in between. And it's just like, I mean. So every time I had somebody blaming referees and corners and scorecards and this and that, I'm like, why are we back on the hamster wheel? Why? Breaks my heart, people. That shit just breaks my heart, man. But yeah, Manny, listen. Let me get on the Manny situation. Let me get this straight, because I know scientist, I ain't no mathematician, I ain't no physical doctor, none of that shit. But last time I checked, if you grew up on poverty, with a lack of fucking proper nutrition, it's starving, like they fucking put it out there, until you up to all your teens, like he was like 17, 18, they say, right? You're supposed to have some type of fucking muscular dystrophy, some type of fucking side effect for all these years of malnutrition. But here we got Pacquiao looking like a fucking flash at 40 years old. How the fuck is that natural?
I saw something on Twitter. I don't know. Was he? I don't know if he was tested, or anything like that. I think it was on Beeb's timeline. I asked him when he gets back, but I don't know, like, if he was VADA tested for this, or I don't know.
Water, Eric. That's what it is.
It's
the
what?
Holy sea water.
Yeah. But you know what, though? I mean, in fairness, it was Mayweather, the Mayweather camp, that started this rumor way before they fought, like years before they fought. It was the Mayweather camp that started this rumor.
He started that rumor.
Right. And it's never, not once, been substantiated. Not once. Never.
I mean, but do you guys believe that Pacquiao ever had been on the juice?
I don't know.
No.
I really don't know. I mean,
don't think this man being on the juice?
I never thought he was. No. I never thought he was. Because I thought.
I didn't so many break a sweat last night at 40 years old. I didn't see that motherfucker not even breathing hard, baby.
Yeah, well, I mean, the guy he was fighting wasn't breathing hard either. I mean, you know, because he wasn't doing much either.
Stop there, baby. I'm sorry. There is something that don't add up. Either this man is the second coming of Jesus Christ, or this dude is using pets.
So you honestly think, Georgie, that all 69 of his fights, because that's how many he's had now, that he's always been on the juice?
Baby, is that the way this man moves? The way, because you can be born with speed, you can be born with reflexes, you can be born with this talent. I'm not going to say, but round after round after round after round, you're not even breaking a sweat? Bro, come on now. It's not natural. You got to be on something, brother.
No, I don't believe that he is.
I don't know about that, man. I don't know.
Baby, but come on, Robbie. We see all kind of bullshit going. Listen, as a matter of fact, one other fight, the guy, there was the guy who got pushed to continue the fight from the corner. That guy popped, right? He popped, then he complained, they tested him again, came out negative, and that's how the fight happened. Am I right or wrong?
Listen, I mean, again, you know.
No, hold on. Let's answer the question. Did the dude pop, they retest dude, and then the fight, they let it happen?
Yeah. Who was there? He was like HIV. They said he was HIV positive.
Oh, I don't remember that one.
Yeah, that was on the ESPN Plus.
What do you mean HIV positive? What we talking about?
That's what they said. He tested positive for like HIV or something like that. Then they ran the test back.
Being tested that way was Tommy Morrison.
No, this was last night though. Beeb, maybe you can help me out here. I'm not sure. There was a guy there.
He didn't get pumped for being HIV.
Yes, he did. Yeah, it's called HIV. Yeah, no, I'm telling you, the one dude you're talking about got popped for HIV. Beeb, do you remember this from last night?
I don't remember it. I'll have to do some. Sorry.
I'll bring you into this, and you're absolutely 100% no help, Beeb. Zero.
I'm sorry.
Zero.
I'm so sorry.
Georgie, you're wrong. I don't even have any.
So was it? It was a fighter but the fight wasn't televised, right?
No.
Whatever he got popped for.
He got popped for something.
Where was the B sample? Where was the C sample? Why they retested him again? If they got allegedly few samples when they take this fucking test, it's more than one. Silence from the mafia. Nothing else. Nothing else, baby.
This is horrible. This is horrible, Georgie. Horrible.
It's just getting to a point you don't know. You don't believe. Bada ain't shit. Usada ain't shit. These people pop whatever they want to pop. All the time. Whoever they must send the signal, you know what? Pop this guy. Boom, pop him. That's it. I don't believe in CompuBox. I don't believe in no WWE fucking title. Listen, you can't believe none of this shit. It's a mockery. That's where we at. Shout out to Billy C. That he used to have a daily show on boxing, but the man got so heartbroken that he's down to 1 day a week. Serious.
What?
Serious, brother. Serious.
Oh, he's not. When did he do that? Because I used to watch him all the time too. What happened? He's only doing one show a week now.
You got heartbroken, baby. It's so much bullshit.
This guy Billy C Boxing. He has a YouTube channel.
Like it's everyday thing. Like it's beautiful. Like nothing is going on. It's sickening. From the bullshit bell to the man. Heartbreaking, baby. Heartbreaking. Anyways, man, I don't have a lot to say. I just want to come out with the facts. And the facts are those that the sport as it is on the fucking downhill, fucking going down the drain really quick.
The world according to Georgie.
Belts we got. How many champions we got? When this shit getting old? It's just ridiculous. Oh, listen. Is the DSG Porter fighting or not?
I don't know.
They're supposed to be fighting in September, I heard.
Is it official? Is the contract already? What's going on with this thing?
I don't know. Eric, do you know anything new?
No.
No. Okay.
Porter's always dodging big fights.
We heard September. What was it? September 8th.
Something like that. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Let me check the schedule here.
Another fucking mirage. I wouldn't be amazed if that shit doesn't even happen. You just want to make believe the fucking motherfuckers don't pressure these fucking PBC fighters and shit.
Sounds like Scarface.
I wouldn't be that they come out in September saying, nah, that shit's the fucking on the spring of next year or some shit. And first thing you know, a whole year passed by. A whole year. And people waiting like dummies and shit.
Well, hey, that's the way Al Heyman does business, you know?
Man. This shit is so disappointing. Thank God I got you guys. Thank God that you guys are the last fucking ray of fucking sunlight in the sport. Only reason I'm around.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't know what to say. You've left me almost speechless.
What happened to Billy C? I can't believe Billy C threw in the towel.
I don't even
know
know
happened.
who Billy C. I don't even know who Billy C is.
I don't know who Billy C. Well, I don't know who you're talking about.
I'll text you a link.
This shit for a minute, bro. Ain't got nothing good to say about the show that he got, because that shit didn't have a lot of fan base, because the man used to call it like it is. And this is the problem here. If you don't run with whatever they want you to run with, then you get fucking pushed to the side. You know what I'm saying?
Probably got shut down. Probably got shut down by Heyman Enterprises.
Heyman Enterprises.
Probably got shut down by Heyman LLC. Put the knife right in the coffin, baby. Heyman LLC took him out. The Matthysse took him out, baby.
I always gotta let you go. I just want to tell everybody out there to support you, because, like, you know, my man Eric said, you guys don't ask for anything besides a thumb up. So, great show, and I'll see you guys next week.
All right, there you go.
Georgie.
All right, Georgie. Stay strong, brother.
So Beeb, I was talking, man. They have a WBA belt we can buy on eBay for $185.
When's your birthday coming up? I'll get it for you.
I say we do it. I'm just saying, I think we do it at this point.
What's Lisa going to do? Lisa going to allow that in the house?
Probably not.
Get mad at Lisa. Get mad at Lisa one day. Take the belt. Go, babe. Lisa, I'm the champ in this house. Look at the belt. I'm the champ.
That's what I'm going to do. Yeah. Anytime, you know, she gets a little crazy, I bring out the belt. Hey, I'm the man. All right.
I got the title, Lisa. You want some of this?
I got this from eBay. Legitimate source. All right. Before we go any further, let's talk about the Usyk fight, the Usyk-Gassiev fight. Who do you guys like in that one? Robert, let's start with you.
I like Usyk. I think he wins this. You know, every fight that he's had in this tournament, he's done very well.
Yeah.
And I don't think Gassiev has got enough to stop him. I think Usyk wins this, and I think it'll be a rather lopsided, unanimous decision, especially if he boxes and moves around the ring.
Wow. All right. B, what do you say?
I'm going to roll with Usyk, but I don't think it's going to be easy.
I don't think so either. Yeah, I think it's going to be. I tell you what, I'm almost on the verge of picking Gassiev in this fight, but I'm going to take Usyk also. But yeah,
we're all picking Usyk. Oh, this is rare. We all pick the same. Usually one of us picks someone else.
Yeah.
Happen very often. Wow.
But Gassiev, I'll tell you what, man, this is going to be a good fight. And I tell you right now, I would not be surprised if Gassiev pulls off the upset. Let's talk about Jamie Munguia versus Liam Smith. Hey, all right, Beeb. So you and I have been following Jamie for Liam Smith for a while now.
Correct.
We've been following him for a while, for a good portion of his career. When the Canelo fight took place, both you and I, we didn't know if he was going to win, but he thought he would give a good account of himself. We gave him a chance to win. We thought he had a good
absolutely, without question, yes.
And he got demolished in that fight. All right. Last time he was in the U.S., he got demolished. What does he do against Jamie Munguia? I mean, because I would have to favor Jamie Munguia big time in this fight. I would have to favor him by knockout.
I'm going to say something very bold here.
Yeah.
I think he gets demolished against Jamie Munguia, too. Jamie Munguia is a big, strong kid, and he's on the up. As much as I like Liam Smith, he's been in a lot of tough fights.
Yeah.
And this Munguia kid, to my knowledge, has not. And he's a big, strong kid who can punch. Liam Smith is not the most mobile guy in the world. He's not the hardest guy in the ring to find. And unfortunately, or fortunately for him, however you want to, it's a double-edged sword. There's one thing that could hurt him in this fight immensely. And it begins with an H. It's his heart. Yeah. He's going to stand and trade. As soon as he gets hit, he wants to get it right back. Tries to do that against this kid. This kid's a young lion, man. You don't want. I mean, this kid's a problem right now.
Yeah, he's a big problem, and I don't think
he's a problem.
I honestly, I don't even think this fight is competitive. I don't
think it will be
walkover. I think he walks right through Smith.
And I think
because Smith has shown so much promise in the past. Go ahead, Robert.
I was going to say, if you guys think it's going to be easy, and I do too, I think Munguia will win. Why does HBO put this on the air? I mean,
I think it's an HBO caliber fight.
It's going to be an entertaining fight, Robert.
Yeah,
it's going to be an entertaining fight.
I think Munguia's coming up, and Liam Smith. I mean, I think it's a good TV fight. Yeah.
Okay, so it won't end in the first or second round, then.
No,
we're not. It's not like Eric and I are Nostradamus either. I mean, we're not going to be 100% right every time either. Because we say that's how it's going to play out. We could be totally wrong. I mean, I ain't wrong once probably every 7 years. I mean, it happens.
Pretty good. I mean, that's still pretty good. That's not bad.
Last time I was wrong, I think Jimmy Carter was president, but it doesn't matter.
That's in the past. We don't even count that time either, Beeb. So there you go.
I was wrong. I think Jason had a date with a girl. Oh, my fault.
Come on, Beeb.
That was horrible. Should I retract that? No, I'm not going to retract that.
He had a date at 7 o'clock. It's 8:30. He's back online now. The date went stellar.
All right.
Hey, honey, can I get your number? Yeah, I got a number for you. Here's number 1.
Yeah. Said, don't call me. We'll call you. All right.
Yeah. He's a fucking mental case is what he is.
Robert, you're always so mean to Jason.
What's going on, you filthy animals? Fucking
Jason, what's
Robbie
happening?
Robbie and his fucking little crackhead Georgie are complaining about Al Heyman. And in the meantime, he's saving the fucking year with the best matchups available. I mean, Danny versus Porter's coming up. Mikey versus Easter's coming up.
When is Danny versus Porter coming up?
Who else?
Is that September, Jason?
Benavidez and Durrell.
It's not scheduled. I looked in September.
Heard it here first. Huh?
When are they fighting? When is Porter and Garcia fighting?
It's September 8th.
September 8th. But you always know the PBC announces their fights like a month before, so they're letting the Mikey fight go on, and then after that, I'm sure they're going to announce it. So that's their upcoming big event.
Yeah,
they're not just going to announce it before Mikey and Easter happens.
Yeah, it's not listed.
That's the kind of shit. That's the kind of shit. That's the kind of shit Al Heyman does, Robbie. Fucking hater. I mean, I feel bad for Golden Boy, man. They keep taking L after L after L. I mean, this has been a year of L's for Golden Boy. Fucking Jojo Diaz, Canelo's been having a bad year. Fucking Linares lost. No, you got this fucking guy last night. quit again. Lucas the quitter. Lucas the quitting machine. Lucas the quitting machine.
He's done.
Nobody talks about that motherfucker quitting all the time. And if that was like Broner, everybody would be like, "Oh, what a fucking quitter and shit," you know?
Yeah, Broner gets a bad rap.
Lucas the quitter.
Broner gets a bad rap.
I can't believe they treat Broner that way. He's an upstanding citizen.
Yeah, he
Did
is.
Did you guys see the second knockdown? That was so fishy. Manny barely touched him, and he just knocked down.
Again, I mean, we're not taking the shots, but yeah, it did look suspect to me. I mean, it was three straight. It looked like three straight jab. That second jab, or the third shot is what supposedly hit him on the temple or whatever. And it was a little bit. It was hooked around a little bit, but it wasn't. It didn't look.
And
like
here's another inside boxing point for you. The notorious fight fixer Sean Gibbons was in the ring last night with Manny. The guy that was investigated by the FBI for fixing fights with Top Rank. He was in the ring, just like he was in the ring for the Jeff Horn fight. You guys can go Google his face and then go look at the post-fight video. He was right behind Manny the whole night. His name is Sean Gibbons.
What is this, CSI? What's going on here? What is this? Episode of Cops?
These are the kind of things Daddy Jason brings to the show. Fucking idiots like Robbie would never tell you, you know? These are the kind of things I bring to the show.
Guy's making me nervous calling himself Daddy Jason. I mean, Christ. We have to call social services on this guy.
We're smacking it on Eddie right now behind the scenes. You'll be hearing some big news coming pretty soon. That cocksucker is getting too big for his britches. We're going to put him back in his place. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you a question. So this alleged beatdown that Adrian Broner suffered, does that go on his record, or is that a no contest?
Video? Did you watch it? Did you watch the video?
No, is there a video out there?
There's a video of it? I just saw the
three regular. It's like 2 or 3 local guys from Houston talking about it. Like he got drugged. He was acting gay. He was trying to kiss people in the club.
Come on,
like he was kissing Tank on the video. You know, he's always doing.
So let me ask you: there's no video of the actual fight. So you don't think in a club with 10,000 people, not one person whipped out a cell phone and recorded this?
They said it wasn't a fight. They just like drug him out of the club and like threw him out. Like it wasn't really a fight. They didn't beat him up.
No,
he just got pushed around and thrown out.
There's video of Adrian Broner walking through a mall. And nobody thought to like, hey, he's getting thrown out of the club. Let me film this.
Remember he was in Cincinnati or somewhere. He got shot up, leaving the club, and his car got shot up. So
yeah, and they had video of it. I mean, they had video of it.
Not really.
Man, come on, son. You know that's fake news.
Also, did you guys watch? There's a video of Thurman floating around. He was like out and about on the streets, hanging out with those those hood preachers that are talking about the Malcolm X and shit on the street corners. He was up there. Do you see it?
No.
He should be worrying about when he's gonna fight next instead of doing that kind of crap.
Thurman was wearing a daishiki and stuff and listening to them on the street corner.
Jeez, no time.
Thurman's done, son. He's done.
What do you guys think? I think Manny versus Floyd 2 might happen, man. I think that's the only fight that makes sense. What else does Manny need? There's no other big fight.
Now, if he wants a big fight,
I think he fights Amir Khan next. I think he's gonna fight Amir Khan.
And Beeb, you're that fucking those scumbags at Golden Girl. They set fucking Ali up all the way, dude. They knew Jamie Monkey was gonna destroy that kid, and that's why they had a one fight option. And now Oscar is trying to make a deal with them to promote him in America forever. Like. That is such a setup. Even Spence and Ellerby tweeted it out that night that kid got set up.
No, I mean, no. I tell you what, Saddam Ali.
No, I just said. So you think Spence and Ellerby, they're the guys there in the boxing business? They're just talking shit out of their ass. They don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I do, because they're not associated with Golden Boy. No,
you.
Saddam Ali signed a contract, signed a long-term contract with De La Hoya when everybody else was signing with Heyman. He's a loyal guy. So no, I don't think they would do that. I don't think that. Why would Golden Boy do that on purpose?
Because he has all the stars and all the big fights. Golden Boy has nothing. They have washed up bums like Lucas. Why the fuck would they fight with him? That makes no sense, Eric. Like, you make no sense there. Why would he sign with him? He have no
so fighters. That's all they have is big. He's got over 200 fighters on his docket, and he's got nobody.
They're gonna give Ryan Garcia the best. Who else do they have?
Come on,
it's
son.
Fucking dying rat ship. Why would he sign with them?
Wow.
That makes no sense. That has nothing to do with loyalty.
Make no sense.
If Golden Boy had as many 147 pounders as Heyman, he's fine with them too. Nothing to do with loyalty. Don't be acting dumb now.
You ain't got no sense.
Whoa!
Thanks for the call, Jason.
Shut up, Robbie. I'm speaking. Put yourself on mute. Let the adult speak.
He said, "Thanks for the call."
You need to go. You need to go. You need to go. Fucking scroll Steve Kim's Twitter account and jerk off. That's what you like to do. I know.
You know, you're fucking ridiculous, Jason. I don't know.
Stop crying, Robbie. Stop crying. Let me stop crying, Robbie. Stop crying. Stop crying.
You come on here.
You're always crying like Steve Kim. You're always crying like your gay lover, Steve Kim. Just let it go.
Why are you always talking about Steve Kim, man? We love Steve Kim.
I don't know, man. I think you and Steve may have something going on the way you talk about him every 5 seconds.
That guy.
That's how I do it.
I think Jason, you have something going on with this Steve Kim character. You talk about him an awful lot.
Yeah, why do you talk about Steve Kim so much?
Oh, yeah, the word out of your mouth is Steve Kim. What'd you get for Christmas?
That guy is retweeting Victor Condi's PD fucking supplements, and that's the guy Robbie likes. I mean, what kind of scumbag is that? That's
Let me ask you a question. What did you and Steve Kim have for supper tonight?
Kim. He's not
That's your husband. That's your husband.
So
you can't disown him that fast. That's your husband. That's your husband. You can't disown him that fast. Okay?
Joel Lopez in the chat just tweeted
Beeb,
Robbie versus Jason for the WBA belt.
He looked that good last night. What do you think, Beeb?
Who? Prograis?
I didn't think he looked that good. He looked average to me last night. I think Taylor will eat him up.
He got hit a little bit last night, but I still think he won the fight handily.
Yeah, the way he won, and the way Teofimo Lopez looked last night, I think he might beat Regis.
Oh, stop.
Come on, son.
Cut it out. 10 fights.
Come on, son.
Teofimo is the real deal.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, but Beeb, what you saw last night, don't you think Taylor beats Regis?
No, we just favored him.
No, I don't think so.
Series.
No,
yeah,
I don't. Absolutely not.
Win the Super Series.
We're picking him to win the Super Series, all of us.
Eric, you favored Regis?
I don't know yet.
Yeah,
I haven't made a pick yet.
Whole tournament, Jason.
But both Robbie and Beeb think he's going to win the whole
Me and Robbie are picking Regis Prograis.
Eric also picked Chris Eubank Jr. to win the whole thing. So Eric,
which I can remind you that if he couldn't make the tournament, they were putting him in the final, so he still had a good shot to win the whole thing. Yeah.
I don't know how you pick Chris Eubank Jr. to win anything. I mean, Jesus Christ, what have you been watching?
Well, I know you're a lot better boxer than Chris Eubank, so you would definitely know, you know.
You were listening to Chris Eubank Sr. poems and got fucking seduced by that.
I love Chris Eubank Sr. I love Chris Eubank Sr. He's my guy.
I built him too well. I just built him too well.
Amir Khan.
I built him too well. That's right.
Remember we said that?
Yeah.
I just built him too well.
Too well.
That's the Ultra Tech Raw Sports intro, isn't it?
Yeah. He was like, I think I built him too well.
He just put out a brand new video today about DAZN and the Parker White pay-per-view falling apart. You should watch that.
I saw it already.
That guy's always on point. Yeah.
A lot of fights have pulled off that card, huh?
Yeah, but I don't even think, even with all those fights, that was a pay-per-view card. But in England, I guess when it's 20 pounds, 19 pounds, they don't really sneeze at it. They don't really care if it's a pay-per-view. They just put it on there. That's what PBC needs to do. They need to start doing $30 pay-per-views, right, Beeb? Wouldn't that be better? $30 pay-per-views every month?
No.
I'm
against pay-per-views.
No.
Yeah?
I'm against pay-per-views.
Yeah, why not?
I'm against pay. You want to shell out $30?
If Manny versus Lucas was on pay-per-view, Steve Kim and Robbie would be watching it last night together. You know it.
Why the hell do you always talk about somebody that's not affiliated with our show?
Would they be sharing the same bucket of popcorn, right?
Number one fan. So I have to
Jason,
about that, Robbie. You're his number one fan.
Jason, one bucket of popcorn or two separate ones. How would it be?
Beeb, what?
How many would they be sharing the same bucket of popcorn, or would they each have their own bucket of popcorn?
Oh my God.
Oh, it's a matter.
They're sharing a blanket. That's what I know. They're sharing a blanket for sure. Without socks under the blankets for sure.
Jesus.
All right. Maybe you should go wash Heyman's car now. All right. What do we
I'm gonna watch his car. I'm gonna watch his PBC card. That's what I'm gonna watch.
You're gonna wash his clothes.
Danny versus Porter,
Heyman.
Mikey versus Easter.
Do you need any laundry done,
boxing,
sir?
Hey Eric, is anybody in boxing putting on 50-50 matchups like Danny versus Porter coming up? Are there any 50-50
all
fights
over Heyman's short, son? Look at you. What about these matchups?
Mr. Heyman, would you like me to fetch your laundry right now, please?
Mr. Heyman, can I get you another cup of coffee?
Beeb, what about Jose Uscardi and Caleb Plant? Is Caleb Plant about to get whooped up? I think that's what's about to happen.
I'm going to pick Uscardi in that fight. I like Uscardi.
All right, Jason, we're going to get running, man.
He's accepted the fight.
All right, man, we're going to get running.
All right, guys.
Jesus Christ Almighty!
Where does he come up with that stuff?
I don't know.
I
honestly, I don't know.
I hate a lot of the stuff he comes on and says, and he always talks about Steve Kim like he's a part of this podcast.
I think he honestly asked Steve Kim out, and Steve Kim shut him down. I think he's disgruntled.
Yeah, I tell you what, he talks about Steve Kim constantly, man.
He's always talking about Steve Kim. He may have posters of Steve Kim in his bedroom. I don't even know that.
That would be funny, wouldn't it?
Look. I enjoyed Steve Kim's show when it was on, but it's no longer on, man. Get over the fact.
Robbie, you don't have to justify anything. We believe you, Robbie. We believe you.
One of us.
You're preaching to the choir, Robbie. We believe you.
All right.
I really.
Go ahead.
Anyway.
All right.
Never mind. Go ahead.
Go get a glass of water.
Area code 804. Bangers.
Hello, Corey.
Hey, what's going on there?
We're back with another bangers.
Oh man, thank you so much, man. Can you guys hear me good?
No.
No, get on a regular phone, man.
Ooh.
That's better.
No, talk.
All right, man. Listen, man. This is Corey Lee's Boxing, man. How's everybody doing today?
Good.
We're good.
Y'all have me come after him every time, man. What's up?
Yeah, I know. It's pretty. I feel bad for him.
He's the opening act. You're the finisher, baby. We saved the best for last.
That's right. He opens up for Corey.
The best for last. You're the Punisher. You're the Punisher, baby.
Hey, Beeb, man, thanks a lot for coming on the show the other day, man. We really appreciate it, man. A lot of people liked your commentary you had on the Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua saga, man. They really respected that, man. I got a bunch of feedback from that. Thanks, man.
Wow, thank you, man. I had a good time on that show. That's a solid show.
All your guests must have turned you down, and then Beeb was the only one that came on.
Thank you, man. Thank you, B. But yeah, man, Manny Pacquiao and Lucas Matthysee. I picked Manny Pacquiao to win by 11th round knockout. It came a little early. I think it came in the 8th round.
He stopped him in the 7th.
The 7th round. Okay, Robbie. Thank you, Robbie.
You're welcome.
And I really feel like, Manny Pacquiao was Lucas Matthysee could not dodge a punch to save his life. Even when he had his guard up, he was still getting hit flush.
You know why?
Corey,
because he's shot.
Corey, I think Lucas was there to collect a paycheck, and he had no interest in winning the fight.
Completely shot fighter.
Yeah, man, and it's kind of crazy, you guys, because now I hear a lot of fans saying that Manny Pacquiao is back, and I don't know if this hurts boxing or helps boxing with him winning.
Son, he's finished.
It's a double standard.
Yeah.
It's like he wins, he looks good, but then you got really, really diehard Pacquiao fans that come on my channel. They possibly come on your channel as well, and they say Manny Pacquiao is back.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you can't really say the guy's back off of a performance from a guy coming off of. Lucas Matthysee had an in-between fight before the Victor Postol fight. He had beat the guy Karam, but Karam was a no-name guy.
Yep.
He was 39-0, and he beat nobody. I mean, if you add all his wins up, he had all his opponents had a losing record. A losing record if you combine them all together. And I mean, that's what Pacquiao. I mean, that's what Lucas Matthysee fought on his comeback fight, and it took him 9 rounds to get him out. It took him 9 rounds to get him out. And in the Victor Postol fight, that showed the beginning of the end for Lucas Matthysee, man, because that showed the will, the desire, and
the fortitude to continue in a match when you're hurt. He didn't have it anymore, man. He did not have it anymore in the Victor Postol fight, and he took the same exact knee that he took in the Victor Postol fight. He took the same knee in the Manny Pacquiao fight to finish him. And it was a telltale sign, you guys. It really, truly was. It was a telltale sign. And it was the beginning of the end for Lucas Matthysee. You know, he was a really good puncher throughout his career. And, you know, he has nothing to, you know, be ashamed about, you know. He was at one point, diehard fans and casual fans picked him over Danny Garcia at the peak of his career, after he got outboxed by Zeuge and after he got outmatched and outgunned by Devin Alexander. So at the peak of Matthyssee's career, yes, he was an elite fighter. So for a lot of you guys saying that Matthysse was never anything, was never this, was never that, at one point in his career, he was feared. You know, he cold-cocked Mike Dallas, you know, cold-cocked him, and then he went right back to back, and he cold-cocked Lamont Peterson. Still the most devastating knockout that he's ever had in his career. Still. Even Earl Spence couldn't dispose of Lamont Peterson the way Lucas Matthysee did. I mean, you know, Lamont Peterson hooked with the hooker, and at that point in his career, you know, Lucas Matthysee, they said power's the last thing to go, man. And, you know, Lucas Matthysee looked really good, but, you know, I just think that, you know, time waits on no man, and I think Father Time caught up to Lucas Matthysee. I really do. You know, he's been in wars. He fought Parodnikov. You know, a lot of people forgot about that war. These type of fights, you guys, take a lot out of these fighters. You cannot expect for a fighter to keep going on and on and on, war after war after war. That Postol fight was a war. He dropped Postol. Then he got dropped. People got to remember the wars Lucas Matthysee been in. You can't just write a book on one fight. You gotta see every chapter in that book before you write that wrong, you know?
Remember, Corey, he was in the fight of the year a few years ago with John Molina, where they knocked each other down 5 times.
And he fought John Molina too. You know, I was gonna bring that up as well. You know, I mean, Lucas Matthysee have been in some of the most guttiest bloodbath wars. You gotta understand that, man. And at the end of it, he says, Oscar De La Hoya says, man, you're ready, man. We're going to put you in with Manny Pacquiao.
That was his retirement fight. He can go back to Argentina and never have to worry about another thing.
Him and Marcos Madonna can sip a Corona.
There you go.
You know, but moving forward, Manny Pacquiao won. I truly think that he looked impressive and he looked good for the I think he looked impressive for the opponent he was in there with. You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying that Manny Pacquiao will look impressive against an Earl Spence, against a Danny Garcia, against a Keith Thurman. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that he looked good with the competition he was in there with. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So with that being said, I mean, he has a couple different choices, you know, and a lot of people, criticize me when I say this, but I said, well, let's judge Manny Pacquiao and let's see what he does after this. You know what I mean? Because, you know, obviously the quickest thing we can do is say he's not going to fight any welterweight. He's never fought any welterweight. Well, he's always been with Bob Arum at welterweight. He's always been with Bob Arum. This is his first time being at welterweight without Bob Arum. So let's judge him what he does from here on out. You see what I'm saying? Because he had Bob Arum, you know, controlling his whole career. He finally got out of that, man. I mean, a little bit too late. Still in debt. I'm hearing sources of $20 million, upwards of $55 million.
Well, he will never fight in the U.S. again because he owes the IRS too much money. So.
He what, Robbie?
He will never fight in the U.S. again because he owes the IRS too much money. That's why he's fighting in all these weird locations now, is because he doesn't want to pay the IRS.
Hey, man, whatever it is, you know, he still owes them. You're going to have to pay him one day or another, in my personal opinion. And you know, I truly think that this is a really really good modern day Muhammad Ali type deal. You know what I mean? Because Muhammad Ali got robbed of millions. You know what I mean? Towards the end of his career. You see what I'm saying? And these promoters will do that, man. You know what I mean? That's why I think a lot of people say Al Heyman's not good for the sport, but we don't have these cases of Al Heyman yet. You know, we don't have these cases where fighters are in IRS trouble. They gotta fight in out of countries. They gotta do this. They gotta do that because of their fucking promoter put them in that situation. I've never heard Al Heyman put his fighter in that type of position yet. It's still early, but as of yet, no. As of yet, no. You know, and I truly think that Manny Pacquiao still has some good fights left in him. You know, I truly think that Manny Pacquiao has at least 1 to 2 fights left in him right now.
He's got about one fight left. He doesn't have any fights left in him. I'll be honest with you, but he'll get in the ring 1 or 2 more times.
You just said one, and you just said one. You're a walking contradiction. But what I'm trying to say is, Eric,
cool sign.
He's
a shot fighter. You're gonna look at me and tell me Manny's not a shot fighter? Manny's not a shot fighter.
Let's put it this way, Corey. He looked good. He looked good last night, but you got to be very careful about who you put Pacquiao in with now because he is at the end of his career.
They got to put Pacquiao in against Tiwa Karam.
So y'all truly feel like Manny Pacquiao is shot good? Right
yes,
now?
He is. He's a shot fighter.
I don't think he's shot yet. I think he's faded. I don't think he's shot.
Final result. What's Beeb Industries saying?
I don't think he's shot at all. I think he's faded, but I don't think he's shot.
He's done.
There's a big difference between being faded and being shot.
You know, let me put it to you like this. David Haye, when he fought the first time, was a shot fighter.
Oh no.
And he proved he was a shot fighter the first time. Then he got back in the ring and he proved he was a shot fighter the second time. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that you really don't have the foresight to see a shot fighter. You know what I mean? See, I have that foresight.
Eric,
I mean, I gotta say one thing, Corey Lee. When you like a fighter, you ride him to the end, man. I mean, you're a loyal dude.
Seabiscuit.
You're a loyal dude, man. If something ever went down to me and you were at a club or something, I'd want you by my side, Corey Lee. You're a loyal dude.
Right. He's loyal. He's a loyal guy.
I may even just pay you $100 a day just to walk beside the Beeb. I mean, you're a loyal dude.
Now, I said he has no fights left in him. I said he'll get back in the ring once or twice, but he has 0 fights left in him.
Eric, you did say one, and then you changed your mind.
Let's go, baby.
I said he has 0 fights left in him.
Let's go. Hey, Robbie, let him know what he just said. Robbie, repeat yourself. I can't hear you.
Remember when you were answering Corey's question?
Jason, if Jason's on if Jason's in the chat room, go ahead and call back and harass Robbie a little bit more, will you?
Yo, I'm listening to Robbie. What are you talking about?
Robbie's a stenographer now, baby. Look at him.
That's right. He can read back to me what I say. He's like transcribing everything, you know.
You did say one fight, Eric. You did say.
All right, maybe I misspoke.
It's all good. But yeah, man.
Got about 3 left.
So Beeb, you don't think he's shot yet? That's the one thing.
No, he's not shot yet. Not yet.
How many fights does he have left, Beeb?
3.
What the?
3 more fights.
Right,
maybe
4.
Maybe 4.
Let me just say this.
Even Corey says he's lost.
Eric, I mean, Beeb, you can think he got 3 fights left?
Yeah, he got 3 fights.
That's what he said. Wow.
Oh my God. But listen, what I'm trying to say to you guys is, you know what I'm saying? There was some good fights this weekend, and this is what I really wanted to get on, man. And I'm gonna head out, Eric. You know what I'm saying? Regis Prograis this weekend, man. Regis Prograis, he was looking like the favorite to win the WBSS tournament. The World
I think he still will. I think he
still
is.
But now after this, a lot of people, I'm hearing a lot of rumblings and a lot of questions being asked, and a lot of people are favoring Josh Taylor now.
No way.
Taylor
No way.
from the UK, baby.
No way.
No way.
Hey, that's what they're saying, man. They said that in my chat last night, you know.
Hey,
so I
we
did
love
a
the
double
UK,
header,
but no way.
Yeah, a lot of people said
and they're saying
David
that
Hay was going to beat Tony
Maurice Hooker-
Bellew
they're saying
too.
that Maurice Hooker, which they're saying that Maurice Hooker is not going to be in the 140-pound tournament neither.
He's going to be in the slam, son.
He got himself in hot water.
You're on probation, baby.
Maurice Hooker. Huh? What'd you say?
You didn't hear about
You're
Maurice
on
Hooker?
probation, baby. Little DWI action.
You didn't hear about Maurice Hooker?
Yeah, I heard he got a driving thing. Yeah, but that
He wrecked a couple of cop cars. Yeah, he's going to have some issues, man, because
Did that get him kicked out of the tournament?
No, I don't think he got kicked out of the tournament, but I mean, he's going to have some issues, that's for sure. Anytime when you crash into a couple
wear an ankle bracelet to the ring, baby.
But so listen, this is all I gotta say, man. Regis Prograis, I think he showed. I mean, Velasco, we didn't know a lot about him. He was 20-0 with 12 knockouts. You know, he showed a lot of flaws himself. But this is the first time. I don't know if any of you guys watched the whole fight into its entirety, but this is the first time that I've seen Regis Prograis get hurt. He didn't get hurt. First round.
What were you watching, man?
He got hurt, Robbie.
No, he did not.
Baby.
No, he did not.
Prescription fix, buddy.
God, you and Jason must have watched the same fight. I swear.
Hey, come on. Did anybody else see the fight? Come on, be honest.
I didn't think he got hurt, man.
He didn't get hurt.
You didn't think he got hurt in the first round?
No, I don't.
What did he do? Spraying his wrist, taking his gloves off after the fight? What do you mean he got hurt?
Would he fall off the stool? I mean, seriously, what did he get hurt on?
Listen.
What happened? Did he trip on his way to the ring?
The guy poked him in the eye with a water bottle.
And he stumbled. You know, he stumbled.
No, he didn't. Come on, Corey. Wait. Oh, man, my God.
Did someone trip him?
I'm being honest. You got to go back and look at the first round, you guys. It was in the first round, you guys.
First round, please.
Later, man. But that's my call, you guys. I had a hell of a time on the show.
60
as always.
seconds.
You had me follow up with that guy again, man. Shout out to that guy, man. But God damn. Hey, man, y'all have a great week, man. Robbie, Beebs, and Eric, man, love the show. You can find me at Corey Lee Boxing, and I'm back with another banger.
There you go.
Corey Lee's Boxing.
Oh, that's funny, man. That's funny. Pacquiao shot. I don't care what anybody says. All right.
And Beeb, I can't believe you said he's got 3 more fights. Really?
3 fights. They're already signed.
10
Did a 3-fight deal.
3 fights on Beeb Industries.
Did a 3-fight deal. We signed him yesterday.
Eddie Hearn's going to put him on DAZN.
We signed him yesterday. Amir Khan's next. Then we got Adrian Broner.
The streaming service that never works. Ask Canadians.
Somebody in the chat just said, if you want to win some money, go to bet the bank on Gassiev. Listen, I wish I could say he's wrong. I don't know that he isn't, man. I don't know that he is. Gassiev's got we all picked
a shot,
but Gassiev has got a real good look at it. I think
he's a good fighter.
He is, man. And the way Usyk looked last time and the way Gassiev looked last time,
yeah,
man, I'll tell you what, I don't know, man. That's going to be a good fight. It'll tell us a lot about Usyk, put it that way. But I'll tell you this, I wouldn't be shocked if Gassiev won that fight.
I wish HBO was showing that fight.
Yeah, right. All right, Beeb, it's time.
Brianna!
Where's Elena? Come on, we got to have a substitute.
There you go. You ready?
Chugga, 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 chugga. Choo, choo.
Oh,
good job.
So good.
There you go.
Was so good. All right, the train wreck of the week this week, Maurice Hooker arrested on a DWI charge. Maurice Hooker was booked Tuesday morning and charged with misdemeanor driving while intoxicated and misdemeanor unlawful possession of a handgun, according to Dallas court records. He posted bond on both charges. Hooker was allegedly spotted speeding on Interstate 35 around 1:50 a.m. while he was being followed by one Dallas police car. Hooker crashed into a squad car ahead of him that was being used to redirect traffic in a construction area. What a moron, son. So he was being followed by one police car. Then he hit another police car. Wow.
What a way to celebrate your championship there, Maurice.
This is the best part. The car following Hooker collided with another unoccupied police vehicle at the construction site. 2 officers were hospitalized. That's not funny. I mean, Robert, come on, man.
No,
one suffered a broken arm while the other had no major injuries. Maurice Hooker, you're in some trouble, son.
I mean, when things go wrong, do they ever go wrong?
Yeah, right.
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't hit one police car, not 2 police cars, but 3 police cars.
Place outside the U.S., he may not be able to travel, man.
Yeah. So
he's on probation for
that
a while.
ain't good, man. That ain't good. Out on bail, son.
Jeez.
Yeah. Anytime you wreck a couple of cop cars, that ain't a good day. Sergey Derevyanchenko and Daniel Jacobs is set. The date has not been set, but a co-promotion between DeBella and Eddie Hearn is, they're saying October or November. The likely date is October 27th at Madison Square Garden. That's what they're saying. So that fight is going to get ready to happen. That sounds like a good one. Sullivan Barrera versus Shawnee Monahan. Shawnee Monahan is set for Bethlehem, Pennsylvania on August 18th. And Louis Ortiz takes on Razvan Kujanu on July 28th. That fight will be on Showtime. Whose undercard is that? He's on an undercard. I can't remember who it is, though. Is that the Easter fight? I think that's the Easter fight. He's on there.
I believe, yeah, it's the Easter fight.
Yeah, so. Yeah.
That's correct. I'm almost positive it's that one.
Yeah. All right. And that'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Robert on Twitter at Ringside Robert, or you can call Ringside Robbie's Corner at 917-259-1810. Leave him a message. You can catch Joe Habib on Twitter at JHabib1 and find his YouTube channel at beatingtheoddswithbeeb.com. I'm at Ringside 73, and we will see you next week.
Good night, everybody.